Very good morning. Once again? Good morning. Good. Okay. Now, let us understand the concepts of management through stories. Do you all like stories? Yes or no? Yes. Very good. Okay. And now, why do we like stories? Any idea behind it? Why do people like stories? Huh? It is not our life, somebody's life. Okay. Then, any other reason why we like stories? You get a good sleep. Time goes fast. Getting others' experience. Huh? Then? It is short. It's entertaining. Ah, very good, very good. I like that. Okay, let me tell you why we like stories is, to the world of communication, each one of us have come and understood only through stories. Less than the age of 3, we all would have heard a lot of stories. Probably would have not had a great communication skills, but our listening skills and ability to speak started by the listening to stories. That is the reason why we like stories every time. That is our gateway to success. Ready? Okay, you want to listen to some good stories? Okay. Now, there is an image there. What is this image? Who is this God? Excuse me. Okay. The story goes like this. There was an old man who wanted to understand who is the most wisest person in Greek. Okay. He went all the way, but he couldn't find an answer. At the end of the day, he landed in a temple. Okay. In a temple, there is a goddess called Delphi. Okay. He went and asked Delphi goddess, Goddess, tell me who is the most wisest man in this place. Goddess came through trance, came through oracle. Okay, whenever we tell oracle, what comes to our mind is a software company. But oracle is the person through which God comes and talks. Oracle came and said, the most wisest person in this place is Socrates. And this old man asked, why? He is the man who is aware that he is unaware of many things in life. The most knowledgeable person is a person who understands he does not know many things in life. The minute you enter into the corporate world, have your knowledge, but still go and tell that I have a lot of knowledge through books, but still I need to acquire more knowledge through practice. I am ready to learn. And the first lesson in management is awareness of unawareness. I don't know many things, let me be aware about it. Okay, Murli made a nice point. Our brain is with us, but how much do we know about our brain? Let me narrate something which happened when I was traveling in an auto. There was an auto guy who wanted to charge more money. I said, this is not fair, you are trying to charge more. And then he said, you are entering Spencer Plaza, you are going to pay more than the price of the product. You are going to pay 30-40 rupees more for every product. And I said, how do you know about Spencer Plaza? He said, I know. And he was talking, he knows about everything about Spencer Plaza. I said, I'll pay you more than what you asked. But before I get down from an auto, I'm going to ask you a question. If you can answer all that question, then I'll pay you more. He said, ask me any question, I'll answer. I was very happy because auto guy was taking a challenge. Then I asked him, for how many years you've been driving this auto? He said, for almost 15 years. Tell me how many spare parts are there in this auto? He didn't have an answer. Okay, this is just to prove that we don't know many things in life. The minute I agree this, then I am wise. Can we go to the next lesson? Yes? Okay. Again, it's going to be introspection. Okay, this is a story which is very closer to my heart for many reasons. Because this guy got married to 4 women. Call him lucky? Huh? Worst decision. Okay? Some feel he's a lucky guy, some feel what an unlucky guy is. But let me tell you about his wives. Okay? 4th wife was very beautiful. He spent a lot of time with her. He bought her the best of the lipstick, creams, everything. And his time was more with her. 3rd wife was a natural beauty. Whenever she goes out, the moon will go inside. She's a poetic beauty. But this gentleman never allowed her to go to the outside world because he's worried about this latest generation. Okay? You got the point? Yeah. Now what happened is, he spent some good time with her. 2nd wife, she did a lot of good things, but once in a while he tells hi bye. 1st wife was ultimate. She did everything possible for his growth, but he never spent time with her. Very, very rare occasion. One day doctors examined his health and they said, boss, your time is coming to an end, you got other 48 hours to live. This guy was shocked, but he didn't want to go alone. He called his 4th wife and he said, will you come with me? She said, there are tons of lipstick which I didn't use, there are tons of creams what you bought from France which I didn't touch it also. If you want, you go alone, please don't disturb me, let me enjoy all these things and go back. Then he asked his 3rd wife, how about you? She said, I am waiting for your death because I don't know how does the outside world look. He felt very much dejected, pulse rate came down very badly. And then he looked at his 2nd wife and he asked, will you die with me? She said, I will do the rituals, probably 14 days I will mourn for you, yearly once I will do a puja for you. I will not die with you. Then he didn't have anything to ask, he didn't want to talk to his 1st wife because he never did any justice to her. But she came and said, honey, I will die with you. This fellow felt very bad, but I have never done anything to you. She said, if you are not there, then I don't have place in this world. Now, early morning, almost at 6 o'clock, what is the moral of this story? Please have only one wife. You saw my fingers? Please have only one wife. Why am I telling all these things early in the morning? Who am I to tell all these things? That's not the way we try to understand it. 4th wife is like external beauty on which human beings spend a lot of time. My dear young girls and boys, are you awake? Yes? Yes. When we go to a beauty parlor, it takes almost 2 hours. Because I need to do threading, I need to do shaping, I need to do hair trimming, pedicure, manicure, fish coming and kissing my leg. Correct? We spend huge amount of time on that, but unfortunately when I depart from this world, it either gets buried or it either gets burnt. Correct? What is the use? But people spend a lot of time. That is the 4th wife. Now who is the 3rd wife? Okay? 3rd wife is wealth. We go about acquiring. What kind of a mobile are you carrying? i5. What is this laptop? Mac. What car do you have? Benz. Left and right people acquire wealth. When I am not there, you know what happens to all this wealth? It is somebody's wealth. Let me take an example. Let us assume I buy beautiful shirts, 6 arrow shirts, kept it in the home, and I depart. I didn't open the seal also. Now what my wife will tell us, last week also my husband bought 6 shirts, but today he is not there to wear it. My relatives with 40 size will take it and he'll go. But I would have spent 4 hours on shopping it in Shopper Stop. We spend a lot of time on that, acquiring wealth. Then who is the 2nd wife? Family members with whom we spend little time, but ultimately remember that whatever we do goes for the family. But for some of us, family is all about hi, good morning, good night. And that's the way the life is also today. Up and down, 2.5, 3 hours of journey. By the time I go back, I eat dinner, I sleep. Then who is the 1st wife? Any guesses? Huh? Phone. Soul, very good. I like that. Are we spending time with ourselves? That's the question. Okay, this person gave me confidence to come and do an MBA. This person gave me confidence to come on the stage and talk. This person is going to give me confidence to go to an interview. Am I spending considerable time with me? The more time you spend with you, the more you discover yourself, and the greatest discovery in the world is self-discovery. So the lesson is introspection. You already done it in the previous session and keep doing it once again. Okay. This is a story of a daughter-in-law and a mother-in-law. When I tell this, there is definitely some kind of action. There is some kind of, war, battle, anything will happen. There was a daughter-in-law who had a tough time with her mother-in-law. This is not that story what I told, this is a different daughter-in-law. She was literally getting irritated with her, and one Friday evening she was seeing a television serial. And Friday is very, very important for serials because they need to close it so powerfully so that people can come back on Monday. That punch should be there, right? The closing should be very powerful. What happened is, in that television serial, there was a daughter-in-law who was also suffering. She decided that in that serial, if I want to be happy, my mother-in-law should not be alive. And she takes a phone, she calls somebody. Hey, come and meet me, you got an assignment to do. That's it. This lady got an idea. If I need to be happy, my mother-in-law should not be there. But she's a very intelligent lady. She went and approached an Ayurveda doctor. Okay? And she said, I read something about Ayurveda which is very unique. In Ayurveda, there is some kind of a root which is very poisonous, I believe. When we mix it up and give, people die without pain, and no forensic science in the world can find out how they died. This doctor said, Ayurveda is there to save lives. I am sorry, I cannot do anything like that. This lady kept 5 lakhs on the table, and then she asked, now tell me, what can Ayurveda do, or what can you do? The doctor said, Ayurveda and me can save daughter-in-laws like you. Okay? And then he gave a root and he said, every day give this root in the milk and give it with love and affection. After 6 months your mother-in-law will not be there. She gave it with lot of love and affection. At the end of the 5th month she realized that her mother-in-law is very good. So she didn't want her to die. Now what happened is, she went and told the Ayurveda person, look, I don't want my mother-in-law to die because she's too good. Do something and save her. He said, it's all over, 5th month. By this time kidney would have gone, liver would have gone, brain by any time would have gone, we know that. And I cannot do anything. Then she tells, please help me. And then the gentleman, the doctor, nice guy, he gave back the 5 lakhs and he said, my dear young lady, that was not a poison. It was just only a vitamin root. The poison was the mind in which you saw your mother-in-law. The minute you changed it, your mother-in-law looks good. Friends, in corporate world, when you join a company with lot of pride, you'll pull up the collar and tell, I'm working for this company. After a year or so, the way we tell it will be different, and we'll start floating resumes here and there. Because we'll start disliking it. Let me be very open. The thrill in which we join any institute in this country, after 6 months we tell, how is this institute? It is not the way what I expected. So what did you expect? I don't know what I expected. That is the problem. Lesson 3 in management is, let's understand attitude opens the door. See, Sachin Tendulkar, tell me one thing, is Sachin in the field is only because of his talent or it is because of his attitude? Attitude? How many of you believe attitude here? How many of you believe it is talent? Very good. Good audience. I like it. Let me also stress that talent comes because of attitude. You got it? If I am talented at something, I had that right attitude to go and practice, be determined in life. That is the reason why it became a talent. Otherwise, it is nothing. Attitude is an engine that pulls All the human qualities required for success. Okay. Now let's go to the other story. Okay. A very interesting story which I really like to tell many times. There was an archer who went and told the king, "King, declare me as the best archer in this kingdom." King said, "You need to prove yourself, otherwise I cannot declare you." He said, "Okay." He kept an apple 1 kilometer away. He took the bow and arrow and he hit it and it broke into parts. Then he said, "King, why don't you declare me as the best archer?" King said, "I will declare you as the best archer." And when he wanted to declare him as the best archer, an old man came and said, "King, don't declare him as the best archer. This archer asked, 'Who are you?' He said, 'I am a consultant for this kingdom.' And archer said, 'From where consultants will come here? You come and try to put spokes in our life.'" You got it? When I am talking this, you can also understand that, right? We also face all these problems as consultants. Okay? And then this young archer felt bad. "Hey, a consultant, what do you want to prove?" He said, "Come with me, you need to prove some more in life." He took him on a wooden bridge that was connected between two huge mountains and water was flowing down. Typical 1980s Hindi film where Hema Malini will run on the bridge will break and Dharmendra will save her. You would have seen that kind of bridges. It will hang and it will shake and water flows. Now what happened is, this archer was walking on the bridge, but nothing happened to the bridge when the old man was walking, nothing happened. But when the archer was walking, it was breaking. The old man, the consultant, he said, "Come on, why don't you come to the center of the bridge?" He said, "I'm able to see my grandmother with a nice white color maxi who are calling me. The meaning is I'm seeing death. That is the height in which you brought me. What do you want me to do here?" He said, "Now come to the center of the bridge, take your bow and arrow and hit the 8th bird in the sky." He said, "Hey boss, this is not fair." He said, "Do it." And he said, "No, I cannot do it." And then they both went back to a common place. And now the archer said, "What are you trying to tell?" The consultant said, "Whenever things were comfortable and favorable to you, at that time you achieved. That is not an achievement. When things are not comfortable to you, when things are difficult to you, at that time you prove it, then only you are a real talented champion. Winning against Zimbabwe is not a task. Playing against Australia is a task. Right? Getting a job because some relative told you is not a big achievement. When I go through 3 rounds of interview and 1 written test and 1 GD, 1 presentation, and finally they shake out of me, and I'll tell you that's the best that comes out of us." Are you able to understand this? Whenever people come for campus, they will try to see who is the best. When you prove yourself at that stage, then we are a champion. If you want to be in the history, don't do things that are easy. Okay? That's the other lesson what you can put it in management, and for all these young management graduates, companies will throw challenges on you. I remember first time when I went for an interview, a company asked me, "Are you willing to work in Assam?" I was puzzled. What am I going to do in Assam? That's a company which sells deposits. I didn't have an answer. I just kept quiet. I said, "Why can't you give me a job in Chennai?" That company was actually trying to test whether I'm a challenging guy or not. Okay? Now, here is a story which goes like this. There's a king who wanted to see what kind of people he has in his kingdom. Okay? What he did is, he kept a rock on the road, and below the rock, he kept some gold coins. Okay? He kept some gold coins, and then he wanted to see how people are going to react. There was one learned person who came. He saw a huge rock on the middle of the road, and he said, "What a kingdom is this? This kingdom is not going to prosper. This king is not going to prosper," and he walked out. Then a businessman came and he said, "All my tax money is getting ruined for this kingdom, because the kingdom is not well maintained." An ordinary vegetable vendor was selling some vegetables. He saw a huge rock and he said, "Let me first move this rock, because this is not only going to wound somebody, people like me who work on a daily basis, even one day we are not going to be physically fit. We cannot eat. So first thing I need to do is let me remove this rock from the road and keep it aside so that others will go comfortably. When he moved the rock, surprisingly he saw all those wealth there. And there was a letter from the king telling, rewarded are those who take initiatives. The greatest management lesson ever to learn is leadership again. If in a program like this, somebody asks, why don't you volunteer? If somebody comes, that itself is leadership qualities. In a company, there are many opportunities for us to volunteer. Right? Let us not wait. Let us go ahead and take it. Okay, this is one of the beautiful stories which I read very long time ago. Okay, and then there is one more lesson for us. Okay, this is a lesson about communication which was neatly presented very long time ago. Once there was a person who met Socrates and said, Socrates, I would like to talk something about your friend. Socrates said, before you fully talk, you need to clear 3 tests. It's called triple filter test. Let me see whether you qualify that or not. Socrates asked the very first question. Whatever you're going to talk about my friend, is it facts or is it just what you heard here and there? That person said, it is just, I heard something here and there. He said, you failed the first test. Okay, now tell me, whatever you're going to talk about others, about my friend, is it good or bad? He said, no, I'm going to talk something bad about your friend. He said, you failed the second test also. Then he asked, let me see whether you will qualify in the third test. Whatever you're going to talk, in what way it is going to help me? He said, it is not going to help you in any way. Then why should you communicate? Friends, the biggest problem is rumors spread like anything. The cost of rumors is SMS will be prevented for 1 month. We saw it. Correct? We cannot send SMS. And now, anything you want to talk in corporate world, ensure that you talk with facts because they don't want you to talk from mind. Let me give you one simple example. Once there was a presentation that was happening in a company and one manager said, sir, almost 50% of the market is covered. Immediately the boss asked him, how big is your market? How many distributors are there? How many retailers are there? And what are the sales last year? What are the sales this year? And just calculate and tell me whether it is 50%. He said, no, I'm just telling you roughly. He said, I don't want any rough figures. I need concrete facts. When you go for a Viva, okay, the questions will be more on how realistic is your project. And if you tell, sir, nearly 80% of the respondents said yes. Without knowing what you're talking, if you talk, in Viva we are finished. Because in Viva, the questions what they ask is based on the answers what you give. Any second year students here? Yes? Projects? Viva? Wait and watch. They want to see whether you have done the project by yourself, whether it is a realistic project. So the most important lesson in management is, let's talk based on facts. Okay. Then there is one more lesson for us. This lesson goes like this. There's a young lady who went and asked the mother, Mother, whenever you fry a fish, why do you cut the head and the tail of the fish? Mother said, my mother did it like that, and she referred to her mother. She went and asked her grandmother, why do you cut the head and the tail of the fish? Grandmother said, my mother did it like that. She went and she asked the great grandmother, Grandmother, why did you cut the head and the tail of the fish? She said, your grandfather was a stingy bugger. He bought a small frying pan in which the entire fish could not sit, as a result of which I was forced to cut the head and the tail of the fish. So what is the meaning here is, when we don't set high standards, okay, the brain catches small skills and small knowledge. Clear? If my goals are very big, as Mr. Prakash said, let me try to have a stretched goals. The reason is, the more you stretch, the more the best comes out of us. Right? These are some of the management lessons which we need to remember And let me quickly recap whatever we spoke. The first lesson is, let us accept that we don't know many things in life. One. Second, let us try to understand that I need to do a lot of self-analysis about myself. Third, let me understand my attitude is the key. Fourth, let us try to understand that there is something called leadership. I need to take initiatives. And fifth, right, let's try to understand, yes, we need to be very clear about what we are communicating. And finally, so far what I said is, if we don't have high standards, right, no company is going to look at us to be hired. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Naren.